What happens when a daytime talk show queen invites a music icon onto her stage, only for the conversation to unravel into a raw confrontation that exposes the fragile line between entertainment and exploitation. In the glittering world of live TV, where smiles are scripted and secrets are currency, one guest's refusal to play the game could shatter the illusion forever. The studio buzzed with controlled chaos under the harsh glow of overhead lights, casting long shadows across the plush blue couches arranged in a semicircle like a modern coliseum. Upbeat theme music swells, audience applause erupts. Coffee mugs steamed on side tables, emblazoned with the show's logo, while tally lights blinked red on the cameras, signaling the live feed to millions. The air hummed with the scent of fresh makeup and anticipation, the live audience shifting in their seats, phones at the ready to capture any viral moment. Kelly Clarkson strode onto the set with the confidence of someone who'd conquered arenas, her black blazer sharp over a simple white tee, jeans hugging her frame like armor. But there was a contradictory flicker. Her broad smile lit up the room, yet her eyes held a guarded intensity, like a fuse quietly burning toward its end. Wide shot to close-up on her face. She waved to the cheering crowd, but her grip on the host's hand during the obligatory hug was firm, almost warning. Kelly Ripa, perched on the edge of her seat with her signature pixie cut and sparkling eyes, leaned in with a warm laugh. Kelly Clarkson, everyone! The voice that launched 1,000 sing-alongs. So tell us, what's it like juggling superstardom with being a mom? Does the chaos ever get too much? Clarkson settled into the couch, crossing her legs smoothly. Oh, it's a wild ride, Kelly. But family's everything, keeps me grounded amid the spotlight. We all need that anchor, right? Her tone was calm, laced with a subtle edge, hinting at boundaries not to be crossed, the sacred divide between public persona and private life. The exchange flowed easily at first, Ripa nodding enthusiastically as they chatted about Clarkson's latest album, the hits that had defined a generation. But then Ripa's smile tilted, her eyes sharpening. Speaking of anchors, we've all seen the headlines about your divorce. How do you navigate that in the public eye? Fans are dying to know your side. Clarkson's posture stiffened ever so slightly, her fingers tightening around the armrest. Audience murmurs softly. I appreciate the curiosity, but some things are just for me and my kids. Let's focus on the music, that's what I'm here for. Ripa pressed on, her charisma turning insistent, motivated by the invisible pull of ratings that demanded vulnerability for views. Come on, Kelly, you're an inspiration to so many women going through the same. Sharing heals, doesn't it? The secondary host, Mark Consuelos, shifted uncomfortably beside her, murmuring, Maybe we pivot to the tour dates? But Ripa waved it off with a laugh, the audience leaning in, a few phones already recording. Producers in the control booth exchanged tense glances through the glass, one whispering into a headset. Keep rolling, this could go gold. Clarkson met Ripa's gaze steadily, her voice even but firm. Healing happens in private, Kelly. Not every story needs a stage. The words hung in the air, a quiet challenge to the optics of daytime TV, where truth was often sacrificed for spectacle. The audience stirred, a mix of supportive claps and curious whispers rippling through the rows. Two-shot tension building in their locked eyes. Ripa chuckled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Fair enough, but our viewers connect through real talk. Let's get real, what's the hardest part been? The escalation was subtle at first, like a pot simmering toward boil. Clarkson deflected with grace, steering back to her philanthropy work, her passion for empowering young artists. I've poured my heart into mentoring, giving back what music gave me. Ripa nodded, but her questions circled back, probing deeper into personal finances post-divorce, the rumors of strained co-parenting. Rumors say it's been tough on the wallet too. Any advice for single moms out there scraping by? Mark interjected again. Hey, let's not forget her Grammy wins. But the audience's energy shifted, some nodding empathetically, others hungry for more drama. In the wings, a producer paced, earpiece buzzing with directives from upstairs. Push it, engagement's spiking. Clarkson inhaled deeply, her dignified poise cracking just a fraction, vulnerability flashing in her eyes like a storm cloud. Kelly, I came here to celebrate my work, not dissect my life. Respect that. The words carried weight, echoing the moral undercurrent, the cost of turning human struggles into spectacle, the dignity required to protect one's inner world from the platform's glare. Ripa leaned forward, her motivation clear now, a personal grudge perhaps, or just the thrill of a ratings bonanza. But isn't that the deal? Fame comes with sharing. Fans feel entitled because they've supported you. The audience gasped collectively, phones held high, capturing the shift from friendly chat to confrontation. Rising tension music cue. Clarkson paused, her fierce side emerging, layered with the hurt of a woman who'd fought for her privacy time and again. Entitled? No one owns my pain. The room thickened with anticipation, secondary voices trying to defuse, Mark saying, "All right, let's take a breath," while audience members murmured approvals or disagreements. Producers signaled frantically from offstage, but the live feed rolled on, unfiltered. Clarkson's reactions revealed her values, a fierce protector of her family's sanctity, unwilling to trade truth for optics. Ripa, charismatic as ever, doubled down. "Let's talk about the settlement then. Word is it left you reeling, true or not?" That was the pivot to outright attack, the tone switching from probing to accusatory. Clarkson's eyes narrowed, the fuse nearing its spark. "You're crossing a line, Kelly. This isn't journalism, it's invasion." The audience reacted in waves, applause from some, boos from others, the energy amplifying the tension like a feedback loop. Camera, quick cuts to audience faces, split between shock and excitement. A producer stepped forward briefly, whispering to Ripa, but she ignored it, her bias showing, the grudge against stars who guarded their lives too closely, perhaps mirroring her own public scrutiny. Clarkson stood slowly, her movement deliberate, ripping the mic from her lapel with a sharp tug. Mic feedback squeals. The studio fell into stunned silence, tally lights still blinking red. She faced Ripa directly, voice steady but laced with emotion. "I've built my career on authenticity, but not at the expense of my soul. You want a show? Fine. But I'm done being your spectacle." And with that, she turned toward the exit, the audience erupting in a mix of cheers and gasps, phones flashing like paparazzi. Ripa called after her, "Kelly, wait, this is live." But Clarkson didn't stop, her steps echoing across the set. But as she reached the edge of the stage, she paused, and what she said next would shatter the broadcast forever. The cliffhanger hung heavy, the control room and pandemonium, producers shouting into headsets. "Cut to commercial!" "No, keep it rolling!" Mark tried to salvage. "We'll be right back, folks." But the damage was unfolding in real time. Social media feeds exploded even as the scene played out, hashtags trending, #Clarkson Walkout. The moral tension pulsed, dignity under pressure, the refusal to let spectacle erode personal boundaries. Yet the story wasn't over, the fallout loomed, promising a cascade of consequences that would ripple far beyond the studio walls. Little did they know, this moment was just the spark for a firestorm that would consume them all. The studio lights burned hotter now, or maybe it was just the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone inside. Audience murmurs swell, then hush. Kelly Clarkson stood frozen at the edge of the stage, her silhouette sharp against the glowing backdrop of the show's logo. Her ripped-off mic dangled in her hand like a severed lifeline, and the red tally lights blinked relentlessly, capturing every second for the millions watching live. Kelly Ripa, still seated, leaned forward, her smile faltering as she realized the broadcast was spiraling out of control. "Kelly, come on, let's talk this out," she called, voice tight with a mix of panic and defiance. Clarkson turned slowly, her eyes locking onto Ripa's with a fire that made the audience catch their breath. "Talk? You don't want to talk. You want a headline." Her voice was low, cutting through the studio like a blade. Camera, close up on Clarkson's face, her jaw set, eyes blazing. The crowd stirred, some clapping in solidarity, others whispering, phones still raised to record the unraveling drama. Mark Consuelos tried again to defuse, chuckling nervously. "All right, let's take it down a notch, ladies." But the producers in the booth were already buzzing, one hissing into a headset. This is trending, keep the cameras on her. Clarkson's words hung heavy, the moral weight of her stand clear, a refusal to let her pain be commodified for clicks. She stepped back toward the couch, not to sit but to face the room. I've spent years building something real, music, connection, hope. Not this. She gestured at the set, the lights, the audience hungry for more. You think you can just dig into someone's life because they're on your stage? That's not courage. That's cowardice. The audience erupted, a mix of cheers and stunned gasps, the energy crackling like static. Ripa's face twitched, her charisma cracking under the accusation, but she rallied. This show is about honesty, Kelly. People want the real you. The real me? Clarkson laughed, sharp and bitter. The real me is a mom who tucks her kids in at night, who fights to keep them safe from this. She waved at the cameras, the blinking tally lights. You don't get that part of me. No one does. The producers exchanged frantic glances, one mouthing, "Go to commercial." But the director shook his head, sensing the moment's viral potential. Social media was already ablaze, clips of Clarkson's Walkout racking up millions of views. Hashtag Kelly stands up trending globally. Ripa leaned back, her eyes narrowing, her motivation laid bare, a need to reclaim control, to prove she could handle any guest, even one as formidable as Clarkson. You're right, Kelly. Not everyone gets it. But you're here, in the spotlight. You chose this life. The accusation landed like a slap, and the audience reacted, some booing Ripa, others shouting encouragement to Clarkson. Mark jumped in, his voice strained. Okay, let's focus on the music. Your tour's coming up, right? But the room was past redirection, the confrontation too raw, too real. Clarkson took a deep breath, her vulnerability surfacing now, layered with the fierce dignity that defined her. I chose music. I chose to share my voice, not my wounds. There's a difference, and you know it. She turned to the audience, her gaze softening but resolute. You all deserve better than this circus. We all do. The crowd roared, a wave of applause rolling through the studio, some standing, others wiping tears. Swelling applause, a few shouts of, "We love you, Kelly!" The cameras panned across their faces, capturing the split, empathy for Clarkson, unease with the show's tactics. Ripa stood now, her hands raised as if to calm the storm, but her tone carried a sting. This is live TV, Kelly. It's messy, it's human. If you can't handle it. She stopped as Clarkson's eyes flashed, cutting her off without a word. The singer stepped closer, her voice steady but electric. I can handle anything. But I won't let you turn my life into your soap opera. The audience gasped, phones flashing like fireflies, capturing the moment that would dominate feeds for days. Producers scrambled, one shouting, "We're breaking records, keep it live!" The escalation peaked, the studio a pressure cooker of emotions. Clarkson turned again, this time walking off for good, her steps echoing across the polished floor. Sharp heel clicks fading. Ripa called after her, "Kelly, we're not done!" But the door slammed shut, the sound reverberating through the set. The audience was on its feet now, some chanting Clarkson's name, others stunned into silence. Mark fumbled, "We'll be right back after this break," as the cameras cut to a commercial, but the damage was done. The internet was a wildfire, clips of Clarkson's stand dissected, memed, and debated across platforms. In the hours that followed, the fallout was seismic. News outlets ran headlines. Clarkson's explosive walkout shocks Ripa's show. Pundits weighed in, some praising Clarkson's courage, others calling it a diva move. Social media split into camps, those who saw her as a hero for protecting her privacy, others who felt Ripa was just doing her job. The show's ratings soared, but at a cost. Sponsors hesitated, wary of the backlash. Ripa, in a rare post-show statement, defended her approach, claiming she only wanted authenticity. But the subtext was clear, a personal grudge against guarded stars, or perhaps a miscalculation driven by the chase for viral gold. Clarkson, meanwhile, stayed silent, letting her actions speak. She posted a single tweet. "My truth is mine. Thank you for the love. Hashtag keep singing. It garnered millions of likes, fans flooding her mentions with support. The moral lesson crystallized in the public's reaction: the cost of spectacle could erode dignity, but standing firm could inspire. Talk shows across networks re-evaluated their formats, some issuing memos to avoid Ripa moments. Clarkson's next single, a raw ballad about resilience, debuted at number 1, its lyrics echoing her stand. I won't break for your stage. Back in the studio, days later, the set felt different, quieter, the coffee mugs cold, the audience subdued. Camera, wide shot of empty stage. Ripa returned, her smile brighter but strained, addressing the elephant in the room with a scripted apology. We push boundaries here, but we hear you. Let's keep the conversation real and respectful. The audience clapped politely, but the energy was gone, the trust fractured. Producers whispered about damage control, knowing the show would carry the scar of that day. In the epilogue of this clash, Clarkson emerged not just as a singer but as a symbol of defiance against exploitation, her vulnerability and strength intertwined. The world watched, debated, and reflected. Where was the line between entertainment and invasion? Her stand had shifted something fundamental, a reminder that even in the glare of the spotlight, some things remained sacred. Camera, fade out on a still of Clarkson's tweet, glowing on a phone screen. Who was right, Clarkson, guarding her truth, or Ripa, chasing the raw pulse of live TV? Tell us below.